get Tree in on this conversation.
Wow.
Again, like I said, Blog Talk Radio sucks. We hate you. We had a bunch of people who were listening, watching our stream. Y'all cut us off. It's fine. It's all good. We're going to continue to have this conversation. You are proving our point that you don't have rights and privileges. Freedom is not free, because we were freely enjoying our conversation. Then they cut the power off in the studio, so we couldn't have our conversation. Then they messed up on BTR, so we couldn't even get our lines open. Then they're saying, come on to IBNX, hit me up. Send us an email at pda.radio@gmail.com, IBNX, so we can talk it out. It's a crazy thing, but you know what? One monkey don't, they talk about come to WAGM. Listen, everybody that wants me there, want us there, y'all know how to get in touch with us. Let's do it. Now we're going to go back to our conversation. This is Rodney Perry. I'm going to talk to you. You talk to me. Okay, so since the conversation is about how you don't have any rights and freedoms, and our conspiracy enthusiast was unable to get a part of this conversation, we're going to go ahead. I do have his notes. He did provide it to me, so we will go ahead and do that. Andreas, I know you had some that you wanted to bring up. Go ahead and bring yours up for me, please, Poppy.
And that's the reason why I wish that my man was shown the line, because he mentioned about the government just taking whatever it is that you have, or imprisoning you for whatever reason they think that they should imprison you for. And where it all started as far as our generation that can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. They're saying on Periscope you look like Dwayne Martin. I hope they continue to tap that screen and give us some hearts. Go ahead.
Going back to when we look at us, we look at Generation X, and then looking at Generation X, we're going back to let's go back to the war on drugs. With the war on drugs, the government is basically saying that if we believe, for whatever reason, even if you have a new pair of those Air Jordans with the gold trimming, if we believe that you've gotten anything out of, if anything that you have come from ill-gotten gains, we can take every fucking thing that you have and throw your ass in jail. Mm-hmm. All of this garbage, I don't know if it is, well, I think that it's all racially motivated for the most part.
Everything ain't about race, dude. You know, let's be real. Everything is not about race.
You don't think everything is about race?
Hell no, everything ain't about race. I think everything is about money. I think everything is about have and have-nots.
Okay, well, I think a lot of it, a whole hell of a lot.
Because there are a lot of disenfranchised people who are not black people. So I don't think it has anything to do with race. I think it's about who has what.
This is definitely a case of, who you know and what you know, and it really makes a difference in a whole lot of these situations, because if you don't have the resources or the right people to tap into for certain things, you're screwed.
Yeah, basically.
It's like they said on the thing, a few bad apples in politics has screwed everything up. And trying to listen to, these so-called politicians, anybody can be in office now. I mean, look at who we have running for president. Really? Donald Trump? Willie Wilson? Are you kidding me? And these they're strong contenders because they have some money to run for office. And it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. Hell, if that's the case, I'm pretty damn intelligent. I maintain a 4.0. I can run for president. I meet the qualifications, as they put it. So, what's next? We don't even want to start talking about the shrubbery.
They said don't forget Bush.
That's what I call shrubbery.
Oh. Okay. I'm trying to get Tree back on the line with us so he can be a part of this conversation. As can you tell me what they're saying on Periscope, if there's anything?
They're laughing at us right now. They're laughing.
Because we had to nigger rig this shit, and I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it at all. Not one stinking bit. And as soon as I am able, I'm telling you, Blog Talk Radio gonna have to pay. ETR is going to have to pay the captain for this one. I don't appreciate it. Not one single solitary bit that they would have this fuckery happening while we're doing a live show. But that's okay. I'm going to get our conspiracy enthusiast on the line, and we're going to continue our conversation. I'm going to go back to you, Sporty.
You know, the other thing that I was going to say, you know, just to even begin to elaborate on what Tree was talking about with the different laws and the executive orders, you know, people don't realize that even though they say that we don't use our military on our own soil, that's the very first thing that will happen. You know, they're going to mobilize. They're going to get us to do what it is that they want for them. Like you said, Kiki, we're not going to get a paycheck for this. You know, we're going to have to do what's being done or we'll be jailed for it. That's really going to be the bottom line. We're either going to be part of their so-called solution or part of their problem that they're continuing to make bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, it's everybody-wide. It really is a race thing because whoever they can round up to do their dirty work, that's what they're going to do.
Right.
And that's the BS.
You know, here's the other thing. And thank you so much, DJ B Shadow, for inviting people to the Periscope so that they can be a part of this conversation as well. I'm going to bring up some of the stuff that TGMG, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to bring up some of the stuff that, since we can't get Tree on the line right now, and I know he's annoyed to the high heavens, maybe if I FaceTime him, we can have him on my I'm about to really I'm about to have Google Chat. I'm about to have Periscope, and I'm also gonna have FaceTime all on this joint at one time. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm about to do it. Let's see if we can do it, guys. Who says I can't do it? Who says I can't? Huh? Y'all don't think I can do it?
I think you can. Let's do it. We can do everything. This is PA. We don't play games. Around here, we're going to get it done. We will not be shut down, silenced, or shut up just because they don't want to hear the truth around here.
Yes.
Tell them week that they can't handle the truth. Well, you're going to get it anyway, and it's going to be given to you PDA style. If you don't recognize, like we tell you at the end of the show, you better Google us.
Google us, bitches. Show on. Wait up. No shit. I did it. I got it. Hey, Tree.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
I can't hear nothing.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hold on. Can you hear me now, Tree?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. Look at this, guys. I have all three. You know what? I am the shit. Who else did that? Who else can do that, right? Who else can have FaceTime, Periscope, and Google Chats via YouTube all at the same time? We're about to have this conversation right now, Poppy.
Okay.
All right. We're all good to go now. I'm ready. All right. So back to what you were talking about, the executive orders.
Me?
Yeah, with your shirt off and you expecting motherfuckers to pay attention? Wait, I got the shit fucker on the stream with his damn shirt off.
I'm at the crib chilling, man. I was on the phone.
Uh-huh.
Didn't expect to be on TV tonight.
Hey, man, listen. Anything can happen with playing devil's advocate. You know that. You were talking about the executive orders. You talked about being able to take over all the modes of transportation and the highways and the seize control of communication and media. And I believe you talked about taking over the electrical power, gas, petroleum, fuels, and minerals. So there are quite a few things that you noted on here. And Sporty, I'm going to count on you for when he calls out the different types of ones that you tweet them out, the executive order number, okay?
Okay, well, I put in the
okay. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you, but I cannot see you. So tell whoever it is that you're texting that you can't talk right now.
I'm looking up the executive orders on my phone.
You don't have to do that. I'm going to tell you what they are, sweetheart.
Oh, you got them over there on your end?
I'm all over it, babe.
Okay.
I don't know why you can't see me.
Why? Who can't see you?
You.
I can see you.
Oh.
Stop clicking. I'm looking at Tree right now. All right. So for those of you guys who are watching us on Periscope, we are merging 3 different mediums together. We are merging FaceTime. We're merging Google Chats along with YouTube. So if you're watching this, you can see it. So the executive order that you, let's talk about the one where you said executive order 10999 that allows the government to take over all food resources and farms.
Yeah, I mean, I tell people, look, I said, think about it. If you can control the money, you can control everything but the people. If you control the food and the water, you control everybody and everything, because there are things that we can do without money, like Sporty said. It's a fiat currency, and people need to understand the United States dollar is not backed by anything, nothing. If the dollar collapses, you know who's gonna be the worst off? Millionaires, because they're gonna lose it all. You know who's gonna be the best off? Homeless people.
Yeah, they don't have anything to lose anyway. They don't have a dollar.
Yeah, they ain't got nothing. And they know they can eat stuff that'll turn your stomach in 5 minutes.
Man.
You know? But, I mean, with the executive orders, though, Kiki, and I know you got the list right there. I got the list on my phone. I got some on my computer, but I need people to really understand something. They want to take, when I say they, these are the people who are implementing these different agendas, all these conspiracies, all of these different things that are eroding your civil rights, your human rights. If these executive orders go into play, they can take everything. If you got a public storage unit and you got some stuff over there, that don't belong to you no more. There's one that it talks about how it's like I mentioned, one like mega or the super executive order, and all it takes is for the president to declare national emergency, and all of the powers of government will then be turned over to the head of FEMA.
Right. This is what you said. It was Executive Order 11921. He's referring to Executive Order 11921. And that allows the Federal Emergency Preparedness Agency, which is FEMA, to develop plans to establish control over the mechanisms of production and distribution of energy sources, wages, salaries, credit, the flow of money in the United States, any financial institution, and any undefined national emergency. It also
undefined.
Right, undefined. So that's anything. That's anything.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so it says it also provides that when a state of emergency is declared by the president, Congress cannot review the action for 6 months. And that FEMA has broad powers in every aspect of the nation. So basically what they're saying is FEMA can do whatever the fuck they want, and ain't nothing nobody can do about it if the president declares a state of emergency. And so that's pretty darn scary, right? Don't you think? I'm about to turn this around so I can let Sporty, so I can hear what Sporty has to say. She's been commenting on Periscope, and I know you like, what's Periscope? I don't know what Periscope is. Sporty.
I know it is, but I don't know how to use it.
Yeah. I'm listening, Sporty.
No, so what I was saying, is that just that so many different orders are in place that they're in sync with each other. One connects to the other one, even though they're all separate, and they would have to be, because you can't encompass all the shit that they want to do to us in one order. So they attack the food in one, the money in another, your curfew in something else, your ability to move about the country in something else, how you can shop in something else, and it all connects one at a time. And then that's what reminds me of this BS U.S. Freedom Act of 2015. Free where? What's free? Nothing is free. You free until they need you to not be.
It's not free. You're not free until they not want you to be free. You ain't free at all. I mean, think about it. You're not even free to vote right? Without you having to give personal information about yourself so that they can track you. You know, I already talked about before when we talked about the taxes. Taxes, you have to pay taxes to live in this damn country. Otherwise, they will take you to jail and make you a fucking slave of the government, right? So if either you're going to pay with your money or you're going to pay out your ass, one way or the other, that's not free, right? We talked about the fact that, I'm going to turn the camera on myself for a second. We talked about the fact that, you know, let's just even think about the fact that anything that you do, they have the right to monitor it, right? Yep. They can monitor your purchasing. Let's talk about NSA, right? You're not even free to have a conversation, which I think is part of the conspiracy, guys. We're trying to have this conversation right here, right now. And because they tried everything that they could to keep us from having this conversation tonight. So I've had to blend 3 different mediums together: Periscope, FaceTime, and Google Chats via YouTube in order for us to have the conversation they don't want us to have. They don't want us to know. Welcome, Rodney Perry. I see you just joined us. They don't want us to tell you about the fact that, let's talk about slavery. Since I'm talking about if you don't pay your taxes, you then become a slave, right, to the U.S. government. You mentioned the 13th Amendment, right, in the Constitution, where neither slavery nor voluntary servitude, except as a punishment for a crime whereof the party shall be duly convicted, which is corporatized, the corporatized prison system, right, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. However, Section 2 says Congress shall have no power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Now, if that ain't the one hand giving and the other hand taking away, I don't know what the hell is. How can you say that on one hand you can't have some part or be enslaved, right? But then you turn around and say, you can't do it, but we can't pass legislation. We can't have Congress pass no legislation about it. That's ridiculous to me.
And they turn right around and say, you know, they have all these caveats. They say,
wait, Sporty. Tree's talking. Wait on, Tree talking. Go ahead.
They have all these caveats with everything. And people, and again, like we said last week, you got to pay attention to what's being said to you. You got to pay attention to what they're saying. When these, I mean, I wonder how many people heard of these executive orders that the president can just implement, that he can just come up with. And they all, if you notice, all of them, well, I'll say this, none of them is in favor of the people.
But here's
in favor of the government.
Absolutely. But here's the thing, though, Tree. I don't think anybody really cares to pay attention because it's not important until it affects them.
Yeah, but a lot of people in this country have a normalcy bias. If it ain't happening to me, it ain't happening.
It's all fun and games until it hits your demographic. Go ahead, Sporty. As I switch from FaceTime to Google Chats.
That was the key right there. It's all fun and games until it hits your demographic. When it hits where you are, when it hits home, that's when everybody gets caring and woe is me, or what about me, or, you know, how am I going to get restitution for what's happened to me, and why doesn't anybody care? That's when it gets really, really serious for people. And people need to understand it needs to be serious now, not later. This is the time for it to be important. When you have the time to focus on it, when you have the time to look at it from a different perspective, not from the inside at your own point of view, but look at the whole entire big picture. Because everybody needs to be able to focus.
Okay. Everybody's sitting here sending me messages. I'm getting messages in private chat. I'm getting messages. So, you know, if you're listening to us on Periscope and they hear what you're saying and they're hearing all this dinging and stuff. And then I got Tree over here on FaceTime talking about what you doing, Kiki. I'm navigating for all these different mediums, dude. And I'm still responding to people on Facebook and Twitter. So I am all over the place. So please forgive me. So that's what I'm doing. I can't believe you came on this damn broadcast with your shirt off. I can't even with you right now. I can't.
I thought I was going to be on the phone.
I can't even with you right now. All right. But you got a right to take your shirt off. You have the right to take your shirt off. It's all right.
Okay.
You have the freedom to take your shirt off. All right. They said it's professional as hell. He can take his shirt off anytime he wants. When you're a 6'5.5" freak of nature with abs of steel, you can take off your shirt anytime you want. I'm just saying. They said, put a shirt on, Negro. You know that's the
right now.
Chicago J can see. Yeah, they can see you. They can see you.
I mean, let me.
They can see you right now.
Right, when you do that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I actually got on a tank top, but it's like the strap is over here. And over here.
No, Negro, you do not have on no off-the-shoulder shit right now.
It's way over there.
All right, let's get back on topic, guys. We are talking about you talked about some of the executive orders, but I want to bring up some of the other stuff too. Let's talk about, I mentioned it before when I was talking about the indefinite detention, how they can have your ass locked up forever and nobody can say anything about it. And it was all guised under this law that George W. Bush came up with the whole terrorism thing, right? And you can be held by the military, and the president also has the authority to also, they said you got on the strapless tank top. That would be a tube top. Authority to indefinitely detain citizens accused of terrorism. So, but terrorism is defined so broadly that it can pretty much fall under anything. I don't understand why all these damn churches that's being burned down isn't being deemed an act of terrorism as opposed to racism, chalking it up to somebody being racist. I think those are more acts of terrorism than anything, but they don't want to call it terrorism when it's domestic, but it is a domestic terroristic act. But anyway, so back to the indefinite detention. That was just my own diatribe there. It says, they can, while the administration claims that this provision can only codify existing law, it's been viewed as, pretty much unconstitutional. The Constitution says that you have to be tried, you have to be given a speedy trial and all that other stuff. But this here act that they enacted because of so-called terrorism that we know didn't exist, they felt like they can do that. Cambodia, which is a third world country, has even shamed and ridiculed the United States for this. You know what I mean? For this. Cambodia.
All stupid stuff going on, man. Look, whatever happened to due process? And people are like, well, we gotta, here's the thing. On Real Time with Bill Maher, a real terrorist is not gonna send you letters and send you videos. If I'm gonna break in your house, Kiki, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna send you a text message. Yeah, you better look out, because one of these days I'm gonna be up in there. I'm gonna send you a videotape saying, yeah, look out. Who does that? Who does that? And then they got all the terrorist videos look the same, with somebody holding a knife and pointing like somebody's scared of that. I'm from the streets of Chicago, and you pull a knife on me, I'm gonna be like, man, I'm gonna beat you with a brick or something. It's garbage. People don't even understand the theater behind it all. They don't recognize the signs. And I tell folks, I said, when you watch the news, look for the signs. You gotta pay attention to what they're saying. Like this last church burn. I'm gonna be real quick. And all of these churches on the heels of a 9-person murder. Mass murder, if you want to call it. I think more than 2 people is a mass murder. I don't know what the definition is. And then all of these black southern churches start getting burned down. And then this last one, they say lightning might be the cause.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing about that. You have the freedom of the press. They can say whatever they want. It's up to you as a human being, a thinker, a free thinker, to say, you know what? That's some ping pong monkey jump. You have the right to do that, but I don't think many of us do that. For those of you guys who just joining us on Periscope, for those of you guys who just joining us on YouTube Live via Google Hangouts, this is Playing Devil's Advocate. We have managed to not allow the government to infiltrate our conversation and stop us from having this discussion about how freedom ain't free when your rights are wrong. They tried to take our power away, but then they had to restore the power. And then that wasn't enough. So they cut off our audio portion, but that wasn't enough. So because black people and poor people they say necessity is the mother of invention. I don't think so. When you Black people are the mother of invention. We will figure out a way out of no way. So we figured out a way to stream live on YouTube. That's Andreas, our co-host right there, one of our co-hosts. That's Sporty Spunky Angel. We're on Periscope streaming live right now. And then our conspiracy enthusiast, who was the shirtless wonder a couple moments ago, he has now put on a shirt. Timmy Calderette. Y'all may have seen him on Living Single. I'm sorry. Single Ladies. Real Housewives of Atlanta. Couple of Cadillac commercials. All that stuff. As we have this conversation and they try to stop us from having it. Let me bring up some other things. We have video cameras on our phone. Everybody is watching stuff. They said, way to go, Tree. We have video cameras. We can tape everything. Clearly, I'm watching us right here on Google Hangouts via YouTube, right? I am watching you right here on FaceTime, right? Yep. And is that a painting you did above your head?
It's a photograph that I took with my iPhone and manipulated it and put it on stretch canvas.
Perfect. See, here we go. We can videotape everything, but now because it's working against government agencies that we videotape, that people are videotaping their behavior, they want to now criminalize videotaping police interactions. Now, if we live in a free country, as y'all say we do, how is it criminal to create your own evidence? Because here's the thing. You have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt in court. Now, if you telling me that it's against the law for me to prove my case beyond, beyond a reasonable doubt, how do I win?
You don't.
I start. Andreas has spoken. Let me go on to Andreas.
Here now. I mean, you don't. You don't win. The laws are made for them and to get their point across. They don't give a fuck about you and what you got to say. Just like Tree was saying. I mean, your First Amendment rights mean dick. What do you say? Ping pong monkey jump? Is that what you say?
Yeah, ping pong monkey jump. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Ping pong monkey jump. I mean, we have no rights. We don't. It's a smokescreen. I mean, people in other countries think that we have all of these rights and this is the land of milk and honey, and that's a bunch of bullshit. Mm-hmm. It really, truly is.
It really, truly is.
Yeah, there was
I mean, if anybody picks up a book by Jim Maher and reads the first chapter or the second or third chapter, they'll know that this is bullshit. You know, yeah. I don't want to move to a third world country, though. Don't get me wrong.
Go ahead.
I mean, this is a bunch of monkey jump, ping pong.
Okay. Okay, good. He said ping pong monkey jump. Okay, Tree, go ahead. Your turn.
You know, I've had the experience of meeting and interacting with people from other countries, and they ask me. They say they'll look up on the screen and see CNN, and they'll look at me literally and say, "You believe this crap?" And they say, "Why aren't you all taken to the streets? Why do you all put up with this kind of stuff? Like, it's like, how many people have to die before you guys overthrow your government?" These people have said that to me. They said, you guys are supposed to, people come to this country to be free, and that's why a lot of people are going back to the country that they're from.
Well, Tree, let me say this to you. Whomever you're speaking with that are saying to you, you need to overthrow the government, stop talking to them. Because NSA is listening to your conversations. Next thing you know, you're going to be on the terrorist watch list. And then you're going to be on the no-fly list. And then, but here again, this is all an infringement of your damn, quote-unquote, inalienable rights and your civil rights and freedoms as a United States citizen. If you're on a no-fly list, you can't even pay your damn money and fly on a damn airplane. Because they suspect you. Because they heard in a conversation, they heard those, Three words. Overthrow the government. Overthrow the government. And now you're on a damn watch list. Just that fast. It's insane to me. Here's another one that they're slowly chipping away at your rights. The voter ID. Uh-oh.
Get me started on that.
Okay. Right. It's Sporty. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll let just go ahead, Sporty.
I read through that foolishness right there. And then there are so many of them. What the problem is, you've got this voter suppression is started with the Texas voter ID, where they prevent minorities to vote without having a new ID within 36 days of the election. 36 days. Who the hell does that? Now granted, that one was particularly voted against, but on top of that, you still have the other states where they're still fighting to change this law, that you have to ask, what in the hell do I have to continuously show my ID for?
Right.
I've registered to vote, I've followed the process, but now you want more information. You want to tell me, they have all these new laws about where you can vote, how you can vote, if you've been in this area for a certain amount of time. They change your polling places, and
okay.
I'm a
yeah, I know that you're a deputy registrar, but let me just explain to people, because Tree's having a difficult time hearing you, and a couple of other people are having a difficult time hearing you. So about this, voter ID requirement laws that they are enacting in 2008, the Supreme Court backed Indiana, the home of the Klan, by the way. They backed their new rule requiring their citizens to present a photo ID when they show up to vote. Right now, a lot of civil rights activists were upset about this because thousands of elderly, poor, and minority voters didn't have identification. Like if you don't drive, or if you're old and you don't really go anywhere, you don't have any what they call proper ID, right? So you would be unable to cast your ballot to vote. And so the Bureau of Motor Vehicles now will provide you with a voter ID so that you can vote, and they'll do it free of charge. So there are a lot of states that want to continue that trend of requiring, because I know down in Georgia, in order to vote, you got to damn near give a pint of blood. To vote down here, and I don't think I don't think it's by accident, because if you have people who are disenfranchised anyway, and you got to make them go through razor blade hell with fiery draws on, they're not going to jump through all of those hoops in order to cast a vote that they really didn't want to vote for in the first place. Right? Hello? Can y'all not hear me?
I lost you.
You lost me where? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Sounds like you're underwater.
Okay. Well, I can't. Can you hear me, Tree? Okay.
I can hear you. It's fine.
Okay. Well, I'll talk to Tree for a second since you're having some technical issues over there.
Can I say something?
Absolutely. Uh-oh. Chan is speaking.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to sound like I am on the other team for this.
I don't care.
But as far as the voter registration law, A, it's illegal to even walk down the street without proper ID.
Right.
You can go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
B, when you got your voter registration card, you had to present ID to get your voter registration card. So,
no, you don't.
No other, just,
You don't have to show ID to fill out a voter registration card.
I can say down here in Georgia, when you fill out a voter registration card, you need to have your ID with you. Because you can't be in Georgia without proper ID.
Well, I know, Tree, when we were in California, I know I registered to vote. I didn't have to show no ID. You just fill out the paperwork. They sit outside at a little table like the Girl Scout people. You fill it out and send it in.
I'm proud to say that I didn't vote until Barack got in office, and I still wasn't hip to the crap, because I'm like, these delegates or whoever, these are not our choice. They are options given to us. People say, well, we choose our leaders. No, the hell we don't. If I say, Kiki, what you want to eat?
Right.
And say, I want whatever your favorite food is. I want some barbecue chicken and some collard greens. That's your choice. You choose. That's what you choose. But if I say, Kiki, I got pizza, I got a hot dog, and I got a hamburger. Choose which one. That's not your choice. Those are options. We get options.
Okay. Yeah, it's the lesser of two evils. I see Rocky Miller has joined us on our Google Hangout stream. Everybody want to get in on the conversation today. What you want to say, Rocky?
Hey, I just wanted to show my strapped tank top.
Oh. He wants to show his strapless tank top too, Shrink.
No, I just wanted to say that a lot of the infringements on our freedoms are done at the expense of the people's ignorance, meaning that we are just completely unaware of what kind of legislation that is happening that are just stripping our freedoms away. I remember when the Patriot Act was passed, and the media did not publish so many facts about the Patriot Act. It was just done to say it was everything in the act was done to keep us safe. But in all actuality, there were some very intrusive measures taken that stripped away our freedoms to simply have private conversations that are not being monitored domestically. Okay.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I mean, there are places you can't go. There's things you can't buy. There's things you can't say on the phone. Like I said, they're keeping, all of those things that people have tried to say, Rocky, I can't see you anymore. Your head is going away. There are things that people have said for years, as we would say, our conspiracy theorists would say, that there are private files on all of us, keeping track of what we're buying, keeping track of, who we're talking to, all of those things. And the reality is that shit is real. And the Patriot Act and the Homeland Security Act and all that craziness has literally, slowly but surely, when you weren't paying attention, took a lot of your rights away.
And it's called, I don't know if anybody has heard of this, I may have mentioned it before, but you can look it up. It's called the Hegelian or Hegelian dialectic, which is basically problem, reaction, solution. These evil punk-ass bastards, they come up with a problem like terrorism. They come up with it. They manufacture, they fabricate this stuff to which the public reacts. And thereafter they implement a solution that they already wanted to put in place under the guise of helping the people. Mm-hmm. When 9/11 happened, did you see how fast they implemented that damn Patriot Act? When that damn false flag event over in Paris, when them shooters supposedly got loose and did some stuff, and people didn't see how they edited the video and how that man was never shot in the head by an AK-47 bullet, which would have sprayed his brains all over the concrete, but it didn't. They started implementing laws that were just like the laws in Minority Report, pre-crime. Mm-hmm. Think I'm lying? Go look it up. They want to start to preempt crime.
Here's the thing that I find questionable, but I find it awfully questionable that all of a sudden, I'm going to turn this volume down because I keep hearing all this dinging, and I keep hearing, I don't know if somebody's on fire over there, but they might want to get that under control. Somebody is on fire. The roof is on fire. No, I find it very questionable that they were able to enact that Patriot Act and that Homeland Security stuff that quickly, which led me to believe, what you kind of touched on, it led me to believe that shit existed already. And they were just waiting on an opportunity to say, boom, here it is, and drop it on us.
Well, what I will say, because, I've been in technology for 20 years now, I will say a lot of the observation measures that existed prior to the Patriot Act was because the communication industry wanted to identify trends and dictate what was being, monitor what was being sold, what was being said, who was being called, all that kind of stuff. And the government always knew that stuff was available. And you're right, Kiki. They as soon as they found a opportune time to be able to tap into that without requesting subpoenas and and or search warrants, they did. I mean, they always could get their hands on that information, but now with the Patriot Act, it's part of standard operations for them to provide to surveil areas in which they had no access to before.
You know what's funny? I've changed a little bit here. I'm gonna see how it works out. Can y'all see Tree? Can y'all hear it better now? Because this is what I did. I put you right next to everybody. So you here on FaceTime, they're on Google Chat, we're all on Periscope. I still want to say what's up to all the people who have joined us. Exquisite Boutique, DMV's Ghost, Rocky, of course, we see you in Periscope, and Sporty. There are quite a few people in here. Sunny from the Bronx, thank you for joining us. Thanks for all the hearts, guys. We are having a discussion about freedom is not free when your rights are wrong. And we're talking about all the rights and privileges that have been taken away from us over the course of the past few years because we haven't really been freaking paying attention to it. And yeah, I got all the cameras on. I'm doing it all. I got everybody. I am mixing mediums and platforms all over the place. Twitter, via Periscope, all of that stuff, because we were trying to have our show, but the government thought they were going to do something else, and they figured they was going to hold us out. And see, that's me right there. They thought they were going to be able to keep, they thought they was going to be able to keep us from having this conversation. And they thought that we weren't going to be able to have this conversation. But I figured out a way to continue to have this conversation with Tim and Kyle Durrett right here. He was the shirtless wonder earlier in the show. Also with Rocky Miller, who has just joined us, the regular guy right there. Sporty Spunky Angel, who's right there. And then Andreas, who keeps dipping in and out on us. So we're going to continue to have our conversation about all the rights and privileges that are being eroded right before our very eyes. Tree. I mean, Sport, let me go. I'm going to go to Sporty for a second here, because I know there was something that she wanted to bring up. We brought up the Patriot Act and all of that other stuff. Can you talk about the you talked about the zero tolerance, right?
Yes.
But did you talk about the U.S. Freedom Act of 2015?
I have not discussed the U.S. Freedom Act of 2015. We touched on it briefly, but, you know, I'm just so disgusted by the name of it alone. The U.S. Freedom Act of 2015, clearly, as we've been discussing, nothing is free. Nothing.
Hang on a second, Sporty. Andreas, even though you're not visually on the stream, we can still hear what you're saying. So if you could please mute yourself so you're not interrupting her conversation. Go ahead, Sporty.
You have a text message.
I was just saying that it's nothing, you know, and for them to say that we have certain liberties that are now available to us, and it's just not true when you can turn right around with executive orders and snatch them right away. You know, so I think it's a big contradiction. I think it's a huge, it's a disrespectful slap in the face of everybody who puts their trust in these three branches of government that are, even though they portray to the cameras that they can't get along, they're systematically working together to work against us.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree that there is a level of this. Nobody is working alone. This is not like a singular act. You know what I mean? It's not like one person is or one entity is acting. Again, like I said, it's like if the United States is a corporation. If the United States is a corporation and a corporation is supposed to make money, you have to think about all of these other agencies like the CIA, Homeland Security, FBI, all of them. They're subsidiaries, right, of this one corporation. And they're working on behalf of this corporation to forward the corporation's agenda, whatever that may be. You know, is it to dupe their customers out of money? Is it to whatever that is? That's what they're doing. And so they are working hand in hand. One of them is not working independently, you know, without the others. And it would be, you know, and for people not to be paying attention that they could take your voter rights away from you, right? You being able to vote. the one thing that everybody fought to have the right to do, except for if you were a white man in this country, right? Also for them to take away the fact that in the event that there's some type of state of emergency, you don't even have right over your damn money no more. If you own a farm and you're a farmer, guess what? It becomes eminent domain now. It belongs to the damn country. That's another thing that I'm talking about when I talk about rights and privileges that are being taken away from you and people are not even paying attention. How the hell you gonna have eminent domain? How you gonna take my shit that I done paid for, take it away from me? Go ahead, Tree.
First, I have to say that according to them, it wasn't never ours in the first place.
If I paid money for it, shouldn't it be mine?
Nope. There's a thing. When you pay money, you're using something that is good for all debts and services. So when you're using that fiat currency, you're using something within their system. Again, like you said, this is a corporation, the way that it's run. And if people don't believe that, do a little research on those little red numbers on the back of your Social Security card. And why your name is in all caps.
Yeah, explain that to me. Explain that to me. Yeah, please explain that.
Without going into crazy detail or saying something wrong, there are numbers that are on your Social Security card that, according to this government, and I believe it's the Queen of England, you are traded as a stock.
Yes.
You are property. That's why that's when they implemented the Social Security mechanism back in the early 1900s. They got, like I say, they got dossier on it. If you got a Social Security number, they got you. They know everything you're doing. You can't sign a federal or a legal document, taxes, marriage license, driver's license, applying for a job without putting that damn SS pound sign on there. Hashtag SS. That SS stands for secretive shit because and Kiki, to the defense of a lot of the people, when they implement these executive orders and come up with these laws and stuff, they do it in a clandestine way. They don't even announce it. And that goes against the Constitution where it says it's a government of the people, for the people, by the people. It ain't none of them. It's the government for the government.
Right.
Run by corporate interests.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't have any rights to anything for as long as there's money talking. That's why I kept emphasizing this fact that freedom is not free, because you're paying in every sense of the way. Your rights, your wishes, even your legislators that you're putting into office that are paying, that are coming up with these things to vote on to take your rights away. Therefore, quote unquote, special interest groups. Those are the people who have the money to pay them to push their agenda. So they are in bed with those people. And so if you don't have the money, here's the thing. Hashtag pay to play. You don't get a seat at the table if you don't have enough money. It's kind of like going to Vegas. You can't go to the high rollers table if you don't have enough money for the buy-in. And that's
I want to put it in like layman's terms to people real quick. You know, if you're about to be arrested and they read you your Miranda rights, you got a right to shut up and you got a right to an attorney. Other than that, they tell you right there, anything you say can and will be used against you. This government is not for the people. They say that you got a right to be quiet and you got a right to get one of our cronies to represent you because you don't understand these crooked, convoluted ass laws that we put in place that most of America is ignorant to. Because it's like four Bibles stacked together, and then half these lawyers go to law school and don't know it. But you don't have a right to. Your children, according to certain states, you don't have a right to send your child to school without them injecting some kind of toxic crap into your kid.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're changing some of those laws. That's too when you talk about the inoculation and the all of that other stuff. They've changed some of this legislation because there used to be, if you could bring in some paperwork or whatever to prove why you didn't need to be inoculated or whatever, vaccinated, I should say, inoculated. How old am I? Then you can kind of get a pass to go, right? But now they're getting ready to pass legislation to say that if your child is basically going to be in public, you're going to have your child vaccinated. Literally have to have your child injected with some shit that you don't even really know what it is. And that means that what that means is that pharmaceutical company is paying off whatever legislators they need to pay off to pass that through so that your child can be inoculated with a drug and for whatever hazards that's going to happen. You don't know what they injecting your kid with.
And you're going to have to pay to poison your child, because that crap ain't gonna be free.
Anytime you go to the doctor, it's not free. So right. I mean, it's nothing. It's so interesting to me. Universal health care. Let's talk about the Affordable Health Care Act. It's supposed to be universal health care. Now, my issue with this is that with the expansion of the universal health care, you're supposed to be able to, if you don't have the finances or whatever to buy into the marketplace, you are to be able to get extended Medicare, right? But there are some states, let's just use Georgia, for example, who have decided, no, fuck them. If they can't afford it, they can't be insured. We're not extending our Medicare program for them. Now, your tax dollars, when you get paid, they taking out Medicare out of your damn check that you don't even get to get into because you don't make enough money to buy into the marketplace, but you make too much money to get Medicare. So you paying for somebody else to be insured, and you can't even go to the damn doctor. What right and privilege is that?
It's called being painted into a damn corner.
Because if you pay for the marketplace insurance, guess what? You ain't going to be able to eat.
And the reason you can't afford it is because they're taking the money from you before you can even see the shit.
Right. It ain't even your money. You never get to see your money that they giving to somebody else that you don't have a right to. Now tell me if you think you free. You don't even get to spend your own money. They take it from you first. They figure like this. You don't know how to manage your money. We'll take it from you and do what the fuck we want to do with it, and then you deal with it. Go ahead, Rocky.
Let me just say something. The truth of the matter is that the Affordable Care Act covers those people who are under the poverty level and those people who are over 138% over the poverty level, so that there is a gap there of people that aren't covered. So even if you could afford it, you still can't buy into the marketplace if you fall in that income range. You have a text message. Right,
so you're not insured, and then you're going to be penalized by the IRS because you didn't get the insurance.
Absolutely.
So it's like they're going to take it from you one way or the other, ladies and gentlemen, but you think you free. You think you have all these rights. You think you live in the best country in the world, when the reality is you getting screwed every which way but Sunday, every chance they can get. I'm going to tell you like my mama used to say to me all the time. One thing Miss Dorothy used to say is, kiss me before you fuck me. Just kiss me before you fuck me. At least it take the sting out of it. At least, pretend like you care. Whisper sweet nothings in my ear. Don't just fuck me. You know what I mean?
Well, let me say, and I don't want to make this about the...
You too close, Rocky.
But what I want to say about the Affordable Care Act...
You're too close.
Oh, I'm sorry. The situation with the Affordable Care Act is that your states were supposed to cover those individuals that are over the poverty level up to 38% over the poverty level. And there are states such as Texas, such as most of the red states.
Yes.
I like to call them the redneck states. They didn't elect to have their own marketplace. And because they didn't, though they have a certain segment of population that isn't covered. But like states like Ohio, New York, Pennsylvania, Indiana, several states that have their own marketplace, those people are covered and covered well, actually.
and Illinois too, they're covered as well. I just want to give a shout out to the people who are watching us on Periscope. Big shout out to Lynn Jones, Rodney Perry, Exquisite Boutique. There are quite a few of you guys that are watching us live right now on Periscope. There's a lot of you guys that are watching us on Google Hangouts via YouTube live, and there are a lot of you guys who are seeing this guy right here on FaceTime. We are definitely merging all the platforms. We have Periscope, we have FaceTime, we got Google Chat with YouTube. Thank you guys. I would shout you out if I could see your name, but Periscope isn't showing me your name. Otherwise, I will give you a big share live every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central, at 10 p.m. to you guys on the East Coast, doing our show called Playing Devil's Advocate. But tonight, the powers that be were against us. They did not want us to have this conversation, ladies and gentlemen. They tried everything that they possibly could. They tried to take our power away, literally, right? And then they tried to take our voice away. Literally. And there are so many things that they've tried, but you know what? Persistence pays off. We're going to still have as much of this conversation as we possibly can have, and let you guys know that you're not really as free as you think you are. You're only as free as you can afford to be.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Listen, real quick, I know we don't have a whole lot of time, but I feel that this is very important. I think people need to pay attention to all of the military activity that's going on around this country. The military is not supposed to occupy a country as far as the citizens are concerned unless we're under attack. Do your research on Jade Helm 15, other military activities going on, and this daggone Pope coming to talk about what I mentioned last week, the post-2015 Sustainable Development Agenda. I'm not predicting nothing. However, this is historical, and I think that if he says something that causes people to get upset, the military will already be in place to quell any upheaval or an uprising or overthrow or whatever you want to call it. Also, if you don't think that they planted something, do the research on all these hundreds and hundreds of thousands of coffin, COFFIN, liners. They don't put this stuff out here just for nothing, y'all. If I go to basketball practice and I'm working on my basketball drills, I plan on using that in a game. Please understand that. I'm not predicting nothing, but I'm saying just keep your eyes open, because I'd rather look stupid and be like, oh man, Tree, you was wrong, than to be right and unprepared and uneducated about what's going on. Please pay attention to what's happening, y'all, because it's going to go beyond the news and beyond politics. One day you're going to look up and you ain't going to even be able to walk out your house without somebody telling you that you can or you can't.
Yeah, absolutely. We are slowly. What's up, Chef Amadeus? Thank you for joining us. We are having the conversation. Freedom ain't free when your rights are wrong. And the reality is you don't have any rights. You don't have any freedom. You don't have anything. You know, many of us are walking around with the illusion here in America. And the only reason we're having this conversation, ladies and gentlemen, is because, you know, Independence Day, so y'all can see me, Independence Day is approaching us. Independence Day. That would mean independence means that you are self-sufficient. You're not relying on anything or anyone.
Now,
wait a minute. That's the bullshit, because clearly we are not self-sufficient. They don't want us to be self-sufficient. And so you're having an Independence Day. You're celebrating the 4th of July, which is some bullshit. You done bought into the hype. Pay attention. Go ahead, Rocky.
Well, one, I think this day, that only means that only celebrating our separation from England, Great Britain, whatever you want to call it. And the other thing I just want to mention is, what do you guys make of this? As the government is becoming more intrusive into our private lives, there is a tremendous amount of gun proliferation all over this country, and there is the loosening of gun laws that are allowing people to openly carry all over the states, primarily the Southwest and Southern states. What do you guys think that's all about? Because as they keep talking about this impending race war, gun sales are skyrocketing.
Here's the thing. Ain't no damn race war. It's a war of the classes. It is a war on terror. We are terrorizing our own people. And the thing is, if we're moving closer and closer to martial law and all of these things that you think if they're loosening the gun laws, take advantage of it. Get your ammunition. Get your shit. Because the revolution will be televised. And you better be... No, I'm serious. And you better be prepared, because those who don't have of that situation of getting those handguns and getting your ammunition and getting all the things that they're being loose, you are going to be preyed upon. You will be the one that will be enslaved. You will be the ones that are captive. So you better make sure that if they're all of a sudden fighting so hard to get these gun laws loosened, they're doing it for a reason. Nothing happens by coincidence. Tree is raising his hand.
Here's the thing, and I'm going, like, with all the gun laws and stuff, I'm looking at it like this. For one, there are certain people that are in politics and are in the governing body who are not playing ball. They like, no, hold up. They not playing ball. However, those are not the people you got to worry about. The people you would have to worry about are your neighbors. You know what I'm saying? People say, oh, I don't believe in guns. Guess who does? Criminals. And if you ain't got something to protect yourself, and I tell this to women especially, you know, like if a couple dudes come in here and you got baseball bats, I can hold you off. I'm going to take some licks, but I can hold you off. But I tell women, I say, what's one thing that you can do to stop a mob of people? And they say, what? I say, point a shotgun at their ass. And I'm not promoting violence. I'm promoting self-preservation, because women, being not as physically strong, will be preyed upon by crazy-ass people who want to take what you got because they didn't listen to this show and they didn't pay attention to the fact that one day you might have to defend yourself, and one day somebody going to probably try to kill you over a gallon of water or a gallon of gas or a loaf of bread. Mm-hmm. Don't think that it ain't never happened before. In California, before I move, and I'll be real brief, people were breaking into folks' houses, leaving flat-screen TVs and iPads. You know what they were stealing? Food and water.
No, you not lying. Because let me tell y'all a quick little funny story. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny at the time. Shut up, Sporty. Quit laughing at me. It's funny now. You too, Rocky. Quit laughing. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny. One winter, I was sick. Stop laughing, Tree. It's not funny. One winter, I was sick. And Chan came and got me. And she was like, well, we're expecting snow. And you know, out here in Georgia, if it flurries a little bit, they shutting the city down. She was like, you need to come over here. So at least you're not way over there. We can get to you. If you're not feeling well, we can, check on you, whatever. So I packed my little glad bag and I go on over to Chan's house. We get snowed in. Come back home. And a motherfucker had moved in like the Three Bears. No joke. Motherfucker had ate everything. Didn't steal shit. TV. All kind of shit. The only thing they did, they sat up in my house, ate my food, cooked my food. And, yeah, my Bluebell ice cream. And you know they had to take that off the shelf. They ain't take it off the shelf in enough time. Because that mofo, I wish he had got sick. They took my brand new ice cream. Cooked, left dishes, everything, and burnt out. Now, where do you find in a storm where somebody can't get around that they gonna come in and when they leave, they only came in and took your food and ate? They did what they needed. They needed shelter. They needed someplace warm, dry, and something to eat. And they broke in my house to do that. The only thing they took were my books. If I went down on some of their hood, I'm sure they probably was selling my books on the corner, but that's all right, whatever. But still, they only took what they needed. Mm-hmm. And that's what's going to happen when the quote-unquote, as the ends of the world comes, which I say is not that Armageddon that everybody thinks it's going to be. It's the end of the world as you know it to be, what you've been familiarized with. When that time comes, you need to be prepared because they're loosening some laws so that they can have the right to do what they want to do against you when they tighten the noose on.
That's what I was kind of leading into, is that do you think they're waiting for some catastrophe related to civilians and guns so that they can at some point take the guns out of the hands of many Americans. Because the only thing we need in America is something to make us afraid, so they can use that fear to take our rights away from us.
Here's the thing. I don't think they're waiting on some catastrophe, and I'll let Sporty, she's been quiet for a while, and so is Andreas. I don't think that they're waiting on a catastrophe. I think they're waiting to create one.
Thank you.
But I'll go to Sporty, and Sporty, there you go. You up.
What I don't think they're waiting to create one either. What I think they're doing is they're just waiting for it to be kicked off, and, people need to pay attention to these commercials that are being made, these movies that are being made, these video games that are being made. It's coming somewhere. This shit is real. It's not a joke. They're not just creating this for your entertainment purposes. If I were you, I would really pay close attention to what's going on in my surroundings. You got more movies about world disasters, and who comes up with a movie about the San Andreas fault line falling off? You know what I'm saying? Those things. Okay. This stuff does exist. These things do happen.
And you know what? Here's the other thing too. I think that was Sporty's lightweight way of telling me I need to watch The Matrix. I'm just saying. Go ahead, Andreas.
You haven't seen The Matrix.
Hey, this ain't about me. Go ahead, answer Rocky's question.
I'm a huge fan of Jim Maher. He's a conspiracy theorist. I'm a huge fan of Jim Maher's.
Bill Maher.
Jim Maher's, not Bill Maher. I'm a big fan of Bill too, but no, Jim Maher's. He writes his own books. He's a conspiracy theorist. 9/11 was. I honestly do believe that it was the United States that created 9/11 and staged it in the whole 9 yards. That way they could have an excuse to bring in all the laws we have now, like that point to domestic terrorism. Also listening to CNN saying that I'm not sure exactly what it is, but they're saying that in the next few years, our money won't mean a darn thing, and that we're going into a depression worse than the Great Depression was.
They were saying that a couple years ago when Bush was coming out of office.
And is it actually going to happen?
Yeah, here's the thing. Just like Sporty said, right? None of this stuff is happening by accident. They are doing a lot of things as test runs. We are fucking test subjects in a lot of ways. And I hate to sound like Tree, the conspiracy enthusiast, but the reality is, too many things. One thing might be a coincidence, but if it continues to happen, you have to kind of take a pause and look and say, wait a minute, there has to be something to it. There's more. Again, like we talked about before, examining the why. When 1 and 1 don't equal 2 no more, it's time for you to question what the heck is going on. And it's too much that all of a sudden there's this quote unquote race war that's supposedly breaking out. Who started this shit? Right? With the police and all of their shit, they're creating this environment that is now building and building and building to the point where then all of a sudden they have to do something to shut everybody down. Right? You created a situation. You put all the ingredients in. You put all the players together. You put the cast of characters together. And now you're going to put on a play. And so now what's going to happen is they're going to be like, oh, well, we know how to put in martial law and have the National Guard take over and the military to take over, because we've already militarized our police until we can get, the armed forces there, so we can hold it down until they get here. We know how to lock them down, because when the mofos who did the Boston bombing thing, we shut down Boston and everybody had curfews and they was off the street. That worked successfully. All of this shit is not bad. I'm just saying, I don't want to sound like the conspiracy theorists, but I'm just saying, pay attention, people. A lot of your rights and privileges are being taken away from you, and they're being taken away from you for a reason. I want everybody, we only have 3 minutes left before we have to wrap this up. And I want to get everybody's last thoughts. Give me about 30 seconds at the most. I'm going to start with Rocky. I'm going to go to Sporty, then Andreas, and then Tree, and then I'll wrap everything up.
I would just say pay attention to all the legislation that happens regarding taking care of your freedoms. Read and understand what's going on. because as they slowly strip your freedoms away and your liberties away, I mean, you lose a bit of your own privacy and access to your own property.
Okay.
And money.
All right, Sporty, it's on you, Mama.
My biggest thing would be that you need to focus. You know, paying attention to your surroundings, paying attention to what's in the media, paying attention to what's not being said in the media. You know, pay attention to, like we showed you last week, what's really in the news aside from all of the cover stories, is what I call them, that they put out there. Pay attention to everything. Everything has details for a reason.
Okay. And then to you, Andreas.
All of the stuff that's being broadcast in the news, even all of the stuff that's being broadcast in the news, all of the stuff that just really just means absolutely nothing. The sports games, the music shows, the music videos, the music that's out now. It's all a distraction. It's all to distract us away from the real things that are going on. So we just can't pay attention because there's so much bullshit out there.
Okay. All right, Tree, you're up.
I tell the people this: pay attention, but don't wait until something starts to happen to prepare. Because if you do that, you're going to be amongst the other tens of millions of people rushing to Costco, Walmart, Target, Sam's Club to get the things that you need. Get a little something now so you don't have to be out in the streets among that first wave of panicked folks if things go crazy. Just saying, prepare. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Well, I just want to say to you guys, say to everybody, one, thank you for your continued patience with the tomfoolery we had today. And two, we don't have these conversations just to hear ourselves talk. We edutain you. We want to entertain you, but we also want to educate you about some things. Tree has said it once before. I've even said it. Don't take my word for it. Don't take Tree's word for it. Don't take Sporty's, Rocky's, Andreas. Don't take our word for it. Look it up for yourself. The information is out there. Don't stop at one source. Again, anytime something doesn't make sense to you, you need to question it. Anytime something is not favorable and working out on your behalf, you need to question it. And if that means you need to go to your legislators and you need to tell them, look, mofo, I'm not playing with you. I'm not going to let you, and I'm going to get a whole bunch of people together and we going to get against you, and you will never see another day inside that chamber. Do it. If you vote them in, they're there to do a job for you. They are your spokespeople, and if they're in there pushing their own agenda and not yours, then you don't do anything about it, don't cry foul later. But again, you need to pay attention. You need to go to the Supreme Court's website and look at the documents and everything, because every case they ever see, they put it on their website. You can read the paperwork. You can see the documentation. You can see who dissented on what. You can see who had what argument. All of that stuff is there. It's also on your state government as well. You can look and see all of these cases, the dockets, and who ruled against what. So when those judges, those district attorneys, all of those people start coming up for election, you can vote their asses the hell out of office if it's not looking for your best interest. All right, guys, we thank you so much. I don't even remember what it is that we're going to be talking about next week. Probably something else a little bit more controversial. Who knows? Who cares? Y'all just come back for the fun. I am enjoying the fact that we were able to blend all these different media platforms together. Originally, we started on the phone. We moved into Google Chat. Which was vegan live on YouTube. And then we had FaceTime. We got Periscope. We got everything. We did everything right here for you guys, because we wanted to make sure we did not desert you and give you this information that you needed. So thank you guys so much for your patience and all of our craziness in this debacle, because they cut the power out, they cut the sound out, they tried everything. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. All right.
Yes.
And that's from who? Pastor Richardson, Minister Richardson, whatever you want to call me. That's what I just put that out there. So thank you guys again on behalf of our producer, Cousin Chan, our incredible invisible intern number 3, Sporty Spunky Angel, Andreas, I think I'm something like a Pimp Ferguson, Rocky the regular guy Miller, our resident conspiracy enthusiast and former co-host of Playing Devil's Advocate, Mr. Tim and Kyle Durrett. I'm going to show you. That's Tim and Kyle Durrett. And that's Sporty. And that's Andreas. Rocky is showing us his profile. Y'all see him. Hi. And then me. That's me. All right. Being a part of this conversation, thank you for the love that you guys are giving us on Periscope. Share this across your Twitter feed and to all of your Periscope listeners. I would shout you all out, but they're not showing me everybody. So the ones that I can see, Carrie Middleton, Exquisite Boutique, Papita, of course, Sporty and Rocky, and all the other ones that are joining us that we can't see. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Same bad time, same bad channel. If there's anything else they need to know about, what is it that they need to do?
Google us.
That's right. Google us, bitches. I'm out. I would ask y'all if y'all want to have a kiki, but y'all can't hear the music no way. Bye. I'm out.